Alrighty, a very happy Monday, and welcome to the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin. Today is March 2nd of 2026. How everyone doing? It's a Monday, busy weekend this past weekend. Grassroots. What's going on at the Artsville Theater in Cincinnati, Ohio? We'll talk about that here in a moment. But man, that was probably the biggest weekend I've had in quite some time. With sports, with performances, and I tell you, it was fun. I'm still paying for it. On top of that, we got some furniture kind of coming in at the house. Uh, got a chance to get a new couch, a new coffee table. We actually got a sectional. Prior to that, we actually had a sofa and a love seat and a recliner. But I've had them for about 5 years now, and they, to me, are sinking in. The the padding is ripping across, and it was like, "It's time to get rid of it." I personally don't wanna sit on the couches. I actually sit on the floor. For some reason, I find more comfortability sitting on the floor than the couches. If that tells you anything that I need new couches, then, we did it, and I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot, but last night, had to get some help to bring that love seat down, uh, the the recliner downstairs to the garbage, and, I live in a carpet apartment complex. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I commend these people. They're out there in the morning on a Monday. It's it's freeze rain, that's what it is. It's too cold enough, so the rain comes down, it's freezing, it almost feels like a little bit of hail. And, they're out there, and they're moving all of the, furniture, not just mine, but other people around other apartments. They're moving the furniture onto this, onto this truck's bed and haul it to the dump, and I appreciate that. We live in a neighborhood where, we share a dumpster, and we all gotta partake, and I've seen people, and it's interesting, and I'm just venting, I'm not complaining. But people have a tendency of taking the garbage out to the trash can. I get on my kids about this all the time because they slide open the slide doors on the sides and they see it full, so they assume that the dumpster's full and they just lay it down there on the ground and it looks trashy. And they don't go to the other side to check it, or they don't even bother opening the lid. And I've told my kids, I'm like, look, if you're taking out the trash and you see both sides full, do me a favor, come back up, let me know, so I could go down there and actually lift the lid to see if there's any space in the back, because I want the trash to get in. It doesn't just look trashy. You got people that have to come out here week in and week out, and who knows what you're throwing away. And I don't need people rambling through my garbage. But, I'm like, "Clean up after yourself." And so I hate it because then bags get torn open, it welcomes bugs and animals, and it doesn't make a pleasant sight. The last thing you need is a child or someone to be scared off by raccoons or squirrels or whatever, species wants to come out and, dig through the garbage, and that's already bad enough with dumpsters. So anyways, we have a good amount of that done. It's supposed to arrive at some point tomorrow. I have no idea what it's supposed to look like. And hopefully it looks good. The wife and I looked at it, got a new dining table as well. So they come in sections. So the other day on Saturday, I got the table. Well, it wasn't Saturday. It was actually Friday. Friday night evening, we got the coffee table, which my wife did an amazing job putting together. And then we got the dining table, which, put together Saturday morning, and, waiting for the chairs, which are supposed to arrive today. And then the couch, the sectional couch, the 6 pieces or 8 boxes, it's supposed to arrive here tomorrow. So, um, but man, I'm beat. I haven't done that much stuff in quite some time. Went out to Artsville. I had an early show. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch or listen to Friday's episode, went out to the Artsville Theater in Cincinnati, Ohio, grassroots, presented by Enlightened Studios. Night one, weekend number one, started on Friday. And so I have an early show so I could get up there, kind of help put the set together, do the final touches here and there. And, I leave, come back home, change, shower, shaved. Then I went back out there around 5. I set up. I really don't know what I'm walking into. And it's one of those things where um it's one of those things where when you get there and you see who's there, where you need the help at, whether it's down there in the corridor, whether it's up in the sound booth or it's backstage. I'm kind of one of those people who gets there and let me know where you need me at. Um so Friday went through, thought it was a good night, got a chance to talk to some cast members in the crowd and get their experience, and I thought it was really well. So, a great night Friday night. Saturday, we had a double, feature, so a performance at 2 and then a performance at 7. Yet again, another great night. Terry, Nikel, Chapel, they do a great job taking care of everybody, accommodating to everybody. They know things aren't gonna be perfect. They don't expect them to be perfect, so I gotta give them a shout out. And then Sunday we had it, but, I'm kind of, you know, on my feet, and man, I come home both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I am drained. But with all that and the sports in between, we've had a very, very busy weekend. We'll do it all again next weekend. If you haven't gotten your tickets out there to the for grassroots, tickets are still available. You could click on the link in the description. Come check out this performance, and I promise you, you ain't gonna wanna miss. I've heard some really great things. It's a message-driven story that you don't wanna miss. And so this is, encourage you guys to come out, get your tickets, say hi to me, and, let's, uh, let's chat it up and have a good time. Alrighty, on today's agenda, we're gonna wrap up on sports. Cincinnati sports had a pretty busy weekend. Bearcats had a 3-game series. The men's basketball team took on Oklahoma State. The Reds out there in spring training had a couple games ahead of us as well. They actually, if I'm not mistaken, they actually have a game today at 3:05 at Goodyear Ballpark against the Chicago Cubs. So we'll get you leaded up to that as well. And then we'll talk some Elimination Chamber, kind of review what took place and what is happening as we head into the Raw final, kind of this final stretch before WrestleMania 42. What I want to get started with today is just a recap of what's going on our MLB The Show 25 franchise mode series, where we play as the Cincinnati Reds throughout the course of the 2026 season. We're in spring training using the 2025 schedule according to the video games. The home games during spring training are the home team's AAA affiliates scheduled according to the video game. And let me go back to, I'm going to go back to Friday. I had a lot of things going on. All right. So Friday, the Cincinnati Reds took on the Athletics and they beat them with the final score of 2-1. Back on Saturday, you guys witnessed a doubleheader as the Philadelphia Phillies took on and beat the Detroit Tigers with the final score of 2-1. And then the Reds beat the San Diego Padres, final score also 2-1. No, a lot of that here. And then Sunday, excuse me, we had the Cardinals beating the Marlins 1-0, while the Cubs beat the Reds 6-3. So that was the week in action. The Reds continue their action here. They play a nighttime game tonight at it'll be home, so it'll be their Green Valley Stadium. First pitch scheduled for 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as left-handed pitcher Andrew Abbott will be on the mound for the Redlegs, as D.L. Hall will be on the mound for the Brewers. You could check out this game tonight on our TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel and follow all spring training action in our MLB The Show uh, content on our TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single action. Be sure to have those notifications on, and that way you stay up to date, just like this daily podcast. So that was that. I'll cover baseball towards the end of the hour here. Let's go ahead and get started down to Elimination Chamber. For those who did not tune into what we were, our predictions on Friday, let me just remind you. I predicted CM Punk was going to retain. I predicted that AJ Lee was going to become the new women's intercontinental champion. I predicted that Rhea Ripley was going to win the women's elimination chamber match. And I predicted that Randy Orton was going to win the men's elimination chamber match. And now I didn't get a chance to watch elimination chamber match. I was at the elimination chamber PLE because I was at the Artsville Theater on Saturday night. I took some highlights away from it, but through my emphasis and reactions to what I've witnessed, I thought the elimination chamber kind of went as expected. No? Did you guys think a different way? Was it too predictable? And I'm actually shocked because I came out 100, batting 100, or not 100, 1,000 out of this because we saw everything we wanted. Now, the one thing that I didn't see, and I didn't watch the match, was any outside interference attempts by the Judgment Day. And that was one thing that I mentioned. If I don't know what the future the WWE has for Finn Balor, I'm kind of hoping and pushing for an intercontinental championship match against Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania. I think that would be a great match to watch, and it would sell to me. I would tune in to watch it, and I do feel like it's time that Finn Balor needs to officially move on with associating himself with the Judgment Day. But I didn't quite see any of that storyline develop on Saturday night. So, um, I'm just looking here at my notes. So apparently, let me just get down to where we can get. We saw CM Punk retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And I just want to pop up the right notes. I don't know what I'm. There you go. Let me see if this is it. All right. All right. So let's take a look at the women's elimination chamber match. Rhea Ripley won. And so she will be facing Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss was eliminated by Kiana James, who was then pinned by Asuka and then by Raquel Rodriguez. Hold on. No. All right. I apologize about that. I got an Alexa back there, and She pays attention every time I call out the name. So, anyways, and then Raquel Rodriguez was pinned by Tiffany Stratton and then was taken out by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley earned herself her sixth world championship match at WrestleMania, currently sitting at a 2-3 record, beating Asuka in 2021, Charlotte Flair in 2023, and Becky Lynch in 2024, but losing to Flair in 2020 and then to Io Sky last year. I thought this match was, when you look at the contenders in the women's elimination chamber match, I felt it already just only made sense that we're going to see the best of the best, and the two top griped dominant performers right now is Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. You would be missing out on a perfect opportunity to write WrestleMania history by not watching this or having this match. And it's nothing against anyone else in the elimination chamber. But Asuka is at a different part of her career where that spotlight is not necessarily um ferocious for her. Rodriguez, I think, would be I feel like she's an up and coming dominant star, but I feel like she fits along the category with um Nia Jax and Lash Legend, where you're going to get billed and you're going to get attention, but I don't think you're a WrestleMania main event worthy, in my opinion. Tiffany Stratton, on the other hand, I think is a great candidate for facing Jade Cargill. She's had a feud with her all last fall, but that is still so fresh. You kind of have to put a pin in it and say, let's come back to it. I don't think people want to see Tiffany and Jade again just for a little while, right? Let that feud settle in, let it, resonate for a while, and then we could respark it. So I feel like Rhea Ripley was the only one that was suitable for winning this. And it came very easily to predict that. Bliss, Kiana James had some great moments. What I liked about the Elimination Chamber is although Ripley did win, it wasn't highlighted by Ripley. The entire match, you saw Rodriguez demonstrate her, her power, her domination by eliminating two people at once. Kiana James was very impressive in the opening bout. So I feel like the WWE kind of was really successful with the Women's Elimination Chamber because, yes, at the end of the day, you got Rhea Ripley and the match is set, the stage is set for that match, and I like it. And I feel like that's going to sell tickets, but you also helped all the other competitors continue to progress forward in their in their momentum heading into WrestleMania. So I did really like it. Um and it was I think it was a good match. In the main event, Randy Orton ended up winning the men's elimination chamber match. He ultimately ended with pinning Cody Rhodes. This came after Logan Paul was eliminated by Javon Evans, LA Knight, and Trick Williams before the Masked Man then revealed himself. The Masked Man was unmasked just to be another no-name guy, only for a second masked person to also attack Paul. After the super kick and a stomp, this Masked Man revealed himself to be Seth Rollins, who primed Cody Rhodes to pick up the pin on Paul. Drew McIntyre then attacked Cody Rhodes and that distraction was enough for Randy Orton to hit the RKO and win the match. So when you look at how this kind of unfolded, you figure that Javon Evans, Trick Williams was playing this maybe spotlight moment. And I guess there's controversy that people were disappointed. They wish they would have saw more. But if you were telling me all this, you took on two storylines in one match among six people, and I'm going to say four of the six people didn't belong in it, or three of the six people. So you're telling me that you invent mass Seth. So, and this is where it gets confusing to me. It doesn't. You got to follow along. You're telling me that the unmasked man was Seth Rollins. Well, I think a lot of people could have agreed and expected, hey, the masked man was going to be Seth Rollins. Unless there was something that prevented Seth Rollins from competing and being cleared for ring action. So the good news is that we're over a month away from WrestleMania, and we know that Seth Rollins is going to be cleared for WrestleMania. In the meantime, he's cleared now because the WWE wouldn't have allowed him to reveal the mask as him unless he was cleared. So that's good indication. It doesn't matter who the masked man was last night, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. The bottom line is it could have been anyone, but the bottom line is that Seth Rollins is targeting the Vision, the same faction that he created himself. And I'm interested in learning the reasonings. Now, obviously we've seen Braun Breaker get hurt. I don't see Seth Rollins stepping up to face Brock Lesnar. That feud has come and gone. And I can see right now Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Maybe it was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Maybe it was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. That's going to have to wait because they're injured. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, I think, would be a great match heading into WrestleMania. So, but the point is, it's the architect, Seth Rollins, as the masked man and sabotaging the Vision in the future. The second storyline that the WWE focused on was coming from Drew McIntyre, which I've already proclaimed that Drew McIntyre had to be a part of this, right? If Cody Rhodes was going to lose, Drew McIntyre had to be a part of this match, and he was. He entered in, he started attacking Cody. Randy Orton got in the middle of it and quickly learned that it was Cody and Drew all along, and Cody took out Drew, and Randy capitalized. So now the match card is set as of right now, Drew McIntyre will face Randy Orton at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. But all of this has continued to build because Nick Aldis announces that Drew's actions come with consequences, and he will be defending his title this Friday on SmackDown against Cody Rhodes. And so now a lot of people are popping in their heads. Well, could this be very well a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton? I mean, I really don't know the direction that it could possibly lead. Randy Orton went through six people. He properly earned that opportunity. I know Jacob Fatu's no longer is still involved some way, some shape, somehow. But does this become a triple threat? Could this become a fatal four-way? I feel like we're possibly leaning into something like that heading into WrestleMania. As of right now, Drew McIntyre, as the WWE champion, will be facing Randy Orton. But with the WWE Championship on the line this Friday at SmackDown, Drew McIntyre could possibly lose it against Cody Rhodes. So this is one thing we're gonna be asking ourselves all week is how does the WWE plan this out? Because don't get me wrong, I would love to see a Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton fight. Um, I don't necessarily there's not really much that you have to do to this in order to see it. You just got to put the title on Cody. So, last year we've seen this on the Unveil episodes on on Netflix. They shifted gears because Jey Uso was really hot. Could this be one of the moments that the WWE said, "Look, to sell tickets to, hopefully increase the engagement we want at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, is giving the fans a Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes match something that will improve tickets." They already went out last week and announced that Brock Lesnar will have an open challenge match to anyone to step up. We already have 3 other matches on top of these 2, in line, and those are your championship matches, and now the card has to be built off of that. So, you know what? You see Seth and, if you get I'm gonna just throw it out there, you got Finn and Dominic for the IC title, you got Uncle Howdy and Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania. I mean, it's just a match card I'm just throwing out there that we could see. What else we got? We can do maybe the women's tag team titles and have them wrestle on a different night that Rhea Ripley's facing Jade Cargill. Carmelo Hayes, which has a United States Championship. Damian Priest is without a title. So my point is that maybe the WWE is shifting gears and making changes. I just think if so, it does injustice to Drew McIntyre. It's basically telling me that you don't trust Drew, but what his gimmick is not working, is not selling. I feel like it's a backstab. We're just gonna have to wait and see, and that's fine. I just, I'm kind of pre-speaking prematurely without actually watching it. AJ Lee goes on to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship at the Elimination Chamber. Um, a lot of mishaps and mistakes took place in order for this to happen. I just think it was a special moment that we kind of figured walking into this we were going to see. And, I'm not upset about it. Like I said, I think a safe card is that Becky Lynch comes back and challenges at WrestleMania, has a WrestleMania match. They tear the house down again, and Becky walks away with this title. So you still give AJ Lee what she wants, but you still keep the title at the end of this feud on your main top person, and then that's Becky Lynch. And then CM Punk retaining his World Heavyweight Champion. So pretty much predictable, in my opinion. But, this getting to this point is what was needed so that you can finally, it's that domino effect. You can finally start seeing who do you have available, who needs that time frame in the at WrestleMania. How do you want to fill out the rest of the cards? And it's plain and simple. You only got 5 matches for 2 nights. We got to start pushing, right? Raw's on tonight. I know Roman Reigns is going to be there. Roman Reigns is going to confront or make an announcement for Cody Rhodes. It's coming from the Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is the first episode of Raw during the 7-week build to WrestleMania 42, which will take place on April 18th and 19th. And the attention is you put Balor behind now. It's Punk and Roman. And that's pretty much it. We know that Dominic Mysterio defends his goal tonight against Penta. Unlikely Finn Balor, Dirty Dom wants everyone in the Judgment Day to interfere to help with them to win. Will Balor come out and for a stalemate? That would be something to pay attention to. Dragon Lee tried to get revenge on Gunther last week, so now it's time for a singles match between them tonight. The ring general looks to destroy any guy who steps in his way. He's been successful this far. Rey Mysterio has already is ready to have his career killed at the biggest show of the year. I mean, that's also another option. Seth Rollins reveals himself as a masked man. How will they fall off of that? And the big reveal from last night had to be coming from the box. The box that's been built up all month long, only to reveal of Danhausen making his WWE appearance, debut appearance. There was mixed emotions. I think a lot of people didn't quite knew who he was. If you didn't watch AEW, I think a lot of people weren't certain about what he. Um, Maybe the pop just wasn't there. And let's be real, because Danhausen has never been someone to be this main event blockbuster deal. He's entertaining. He's engaging. I feel like he's a perfect mid-card person. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't go bring him into NXT and let him start down there, because I feel like that's where he'd get his best work out of at the moment. I don't know where he fits in the line. I don't know who he fits to challenge first. But if he brings over anything like he's brought over, like he's used in AEW, then I think there's going to be some fun, interesting things that could be twisted with this. I don't want to just see commentary be cursed. I need to see athletes. And I don't know how quickly the WWE is going to use it. And I'm kind of worried, to be honest, because if it doesn't get received fairly well, fairly quickly, especially at WrestleMania season, we're going to see it get pushed to a wayside early on and a missed opportunity. So, I mean, welcome to the WWE. I don't think it was really new to anybody that he was in the WWE other than just how he was going to make his entrance. And I don't know. I was excited to see the reveal, but then when I actually saw it, I was kind of disappointed. Nothing towards Danhausen. It's just the name is not there. I thought something bigger, something badder, something better. I don't know. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Man, it's been a long Monday. Alrighty. Let's get into our next segment. The Cincinnati Bearcats. Sports was a pretty good weekend. The Bearcats had a 3-game series in their baseball schedule at home at UC Baseball Stadium over the weekend, where they took on Austin, PA in a 3-game series. On Friday, they won 5-4. And on Saturday, they ended up dropping Saturday's game 1-7, but they shut out Austin, PA 3-0 on Sunday, taking 2 out of the 3 games against Austin, PA, as they advance their record to an 8-4 record of the year. They are on a 1-game winning streak. They are 3-1 at home and 5-3 on the road, which is not that bad of a start, to be honest. And they look to continue that as long as weather is permittable. On Tuesday, they will be hosting Western Kentucky. Well, actually, they'll be in Bowling Green, Kentucky, to take on Western Kentucky at the Nick Deans Field. First pitch is at 3 p.m. So hopefully the weather is permittable down there. I know it's supposed to get a lot of rain up here over the week, and I gotta like you gotta like it if you're the Reds, for example. You're out in Arizona, you're out in maybe out in Florida, enjoying some spring training. You don't have to worry about the uncertainty weather that we're getting here the next couple of days. The Bearcats will return home on Thursday to begin a four-game series against UC San Diego. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday's games, you could check them all out on ESPN Plus. Cincinnati Bearcats basketball took on Oklahoma State at the Fifth Third Arena on Saturday with about 10,000 in attendance as they beat Oklahoma State 91-68, demolished them. With that win, Cincinnati improves to a 16-13 on the year with an 8-8 in Big 12 play, while Oklahoma State drops to 17-12. They're 5-11 in conference play. The game was the ninth of all-time series between the two schools, and Cincinnati now is trailing 5-4. The Bearcats are 3-1 in games played in Cincinnati. Bearcats held a 43-32 lead on the board and a 24-7 advantage in the second chance points. Cincinnati never trailed and led for 39 minutes and 24 seconds of the game. But all but one Bearcat who saw action in the game recorded at least one rebound. That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. Giselle James recorded his 11th double figure scoring game of the year and 52nd of his career with 11 points. He sits 18 points shy of 1,000 of his career. Baba Miller notched his 22nd double figure scoring game of the year and 54th of his career with 11 points. He tied his season high 8 assists back that was set back against the Kansas game on February 21st. Kayshawn Tillery set his career high with 5 assists. Day Thomas had a really good game on Saturday. Thomas eclipsed his 1,000 point mark with a free throw at the 5-minute 42-second mark of the opening half. With a high season of 26 points, he notched his 15th double figure scoring game of the year and 44th of his career. It marked the 20th point game of the year and 7th of his career. Thomas Seven's three tied his high career of March 12th, 2024. West Virginia, the 7 triples were the most for the Bearcats this season. And Mustafa Thiam scored 24 points, point his fourth 20-point game of the year and his third in a row. Thiam scored his 18th double-figure scoring game of the year, making that 37th. Thiam also added a career high 15 boards for his 7th career double-double and 5th of the season. It marks the third double-double of his last 4 contests. And for Wes Miller, Cincinnati's head coach, is improved to a 283 record with 207 losses, a 98-72 while at the helm of the Bearcats. The Bearcats will go on to host, I think they're hosting Tulsa coming up on Tuesday night. I could verify that for you. Just gonna take a moment. Bearcats will host the BYU at Fifth Third Arena on senior night, where they invite anyone who's in attendance. They are encouraging them to wear red. That will be on March 3rd, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on ESPN2. The The Bearcats are 8-8 in conference. They have a one-game winning streak. They are 14-3 at home, 2-7 on the road, and 0-3 at neutral sites. There you go. That's the Bearcats information for you. All right, let's take a look at our Cincinnati Reds here. They began things on Friday. On Friday, where are we at? Where are we at? Where they took on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim as they lost to the Angels 4-3. The final score. Reds put up 3 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. Rhett Lauder pitched 3 innings, walked only 1 batter, struck out 3. Aguirre pitched 2 innings, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 home run. The Reds did not. The Reds had a home run of themselves as Blake Dunn hit one in the 9th inning off of Anderson with 2 outs on the board. The Reds dropped this one. They scored back in the bottom of the first inning off of a Jose Trevino single to left field. JJ Bleday scored, and it put up the Reds 1-0. They answered back in the 4th inning as did they answer back? No, that was the 5th inning. They answered back in the 5th inning as Garrett Hampson sacrifice fly out to center field. Reese Hines ended up scoring, and they tried to trail back 4-2. Blake Dunn with the home run went to 4-3. They still picked up the loss. On Saturday, the Cincinnati Reds took on the Milwaukee Brewers on the road. They're out at the American Family Field. They ended up beating the Brewers 9-7 final score. Hunter Green went an inning, giving up 5 hits, 4 runs, and 1 walk in his outing. Lyon Richardson picked up the victory as he went 1 inning, giving up 2 hits, 1 run, walked 1 batter, striking out 2. And Daniel saved the ball game as he pitched 1 inning, striking out 2 batters, only allowing 1 hit. It was a powering day for the Reds. McLean homered to center field to give the Reds out to an early 1-0 lead. Then Blake Dunn doubles to left field. Matt McLean scores. Ellie De La Cruz joins in right behind him, as well as Spencer Steer, tying the game at 4 apiece. Dane Myers then singles to right field, scoring in Blake Dunn and give the Reds the lead in the 4th inning. Dane Myers then doubles in the 6th to left field, scoring in Sal Stewart and Hector Rodriguez. It extends their lead to 7-5. Will Banfield doubles on a ground ball to left field, scoring in Dane Myers, giving them 8-5. Michael Chavez hits a home run to left field, giving it 9-6. They hold on to a victory of 9-7. On Sunday, the Cincinnati Reds picked up or got kind of demolished, excuse me, against the Athletics. 12-4, the final score. Andrew Abbott went 2 2/3 of an inning, allowing 3 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He allowed a home run, as well as Emilio Pagan had an early outing, pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, walking 1 batter. Abbott picks up the loss here as the Reds trailed 12-4. 5 runs were scored in the 8th, 4 runs were scored in the 3rd, 2 runs were scored in the 1st, and 1 run was scored in the 4th by the Athletics. Let's see what happened here on the scoreboard real quick. Dane Myers hits a home run out to left field. That was kind of all she wrote there. Nathaniel Lowe also hits a home run to right field. So realistically, this Reds team, right? This is where I think you're really let's see more of the everyday lineup. One thing that I easily noticed as I look down here, we're getting 2 to 3 at bats, which I think is great. But Then you get into your backups, and that's kind of where the games are expected. I'm not phased by all after watching Hunter Green only go one inning, giving up 5 hits. You're gonna have those days, and let's acknowledge that those days are gonna happen, especially early on. It's gonna take a leader like Hunter Green to be able to bounce back. But there was a lot of also other pitchers that are involved. I mean, a total of 3 of the 7 runs that they gave up on Saturday in the win. Now, it was a win, but it came from the bullpen. I don't know what the future would hold if we put Andrew Albert longer than 2 1/3, but Perks gave up 2 runs. Pagan gave up a run. Luis May gave up 4 runs. Maxwell gave up a run. The point I'm trying to make is that this is just spring training. These guys are getting out there having a handful of outings before they either go to major league, status, opening day, AAA affiliates, or even double A or even single A. So it's allowing these guys to get in the work. And that's the most important part. The one thing and I was talking to somebody over the weekend about some Reds baseball. And the one thing that really troubled me was watching this Reds team year in and year out. I call it a curse. I don't know what it is, but no matter who you pick up, no matter how talented that bullpen is on paper, they seem to struggle. They seem to struggle a lot out there in the late innings. And that's honestly that's something that we've got to figure out how to control and tame. Because we could be up by 4 or 5 runs heading into the 7th inning, and I'm sorry, but I don't feel confident that our bullpen could go out there and get it done. I remember going out to the Sunday's game when the Arizona Diamondbacks were in town. I took my kids. They got tickets because they were part of for their baseball team. And it was kind of like join the team and, let's kind of have some chemistry outside playing, softball. And we were sitting up there and I was explaining to my girls, we're 2-0, we're trying to sweep the series. It's kind of pre-contents heading into the game. And I'm just like, heading into this late inning, we have the lead. We're going to give it up. We do it every time. And I don't like to sound like a Debbie Downer in it, but that's the truth. If the Reds could fix anything this spring, I mean, I would honestly argue that they need to pay attention to how their bullpen comes out. There's really no crystal ball in who you throw out there, if they're going to have a good day or not. I know they put a lot of analytics into matchups, into key strategies of who they're going to send out next. But reality is that's all it is. If Caleb Ferguson is on a hot streak against left-handers, he could go out there facing all 3 left-handers and they could all hit home runs. It's just the ungiven standpoint. So if you are the Reds, how are we fixing our bullpen? I do feel like our bullpen is. And it's only the beginning of March. I'm not trying to say like this is a yesterday's fix. But heading into the season, I like to clean up. And I would love to pay, to watch knowing our bullpen is capable of closing out ball games. And that's what I fear of. I fear that this team continues to slack closing out ball games. And when you get to the bullpen and you're uncertain, even about your best guys going out there, giving up runs, then how are you expected to have the confidence to go to the postseason? It's these little things that can be cleaned up And I guess I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for something amazing to happen, I guess. But something to clean, to fix and to in reality become something, we have the potential. What also troubles me a little bit, is how long do we have to give them before we start seeing, oh, well, this is a good quality. Like I said, I get it. We're early on. We're just beginning March. World Baseball Classic's about to get underway. But the way you play now is the way that we're going to play out there throughout the regular season. But the Reds have a chance to come back. They play today. I just had the game. They take on the Chicago Cubs at Goodyear Park Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona. Brady Singer will be on the mound for the Reds as they go up against Jamison Talion. Right? Is that his name? Yep. And the Cubs enter in with the 4-6 record as the Reds enter in with the 4-4 record. The first pitch of this game is set for 3:05 p.m. and the starting lineup is already out there. Don't forget, all the starting lineups are subject to change. Leading things off, batting first at center field is T.J. Friedel. Matt McLean is batting second, playing at second base. Ellie De La Cruz is batting third at shortstop. The designated hitter at batting fourth is Sal Stewart. Batting fifth at first base is Spencer Steer. Will Benson will be playing left field, batting sixth. Batting seventh in right field, Renovi Marte. Jose Trevino will do the catching, batting eighth and batting ninth, Key Brian Hayes. And so no Suarez in there. I mean, I think you have a pretty good lineup. Yeah, I like to see Sal Stewart in there. He's batting 364 so far this season or this spring training. I think it's pretty nice. What do you guys think? Alrighty. Man, I got to tell you, it has been a long episode. I'm still recovering. I do apologize for smaller conversations here. But we're gonna get back at it. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day. We'll talk some sports. We'll have some fun. Try to break down some of these stories happen. What I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think of Elimination Chamber? Honestly, was it to your satisfaction? Even if it was predictable, or even if you got them all wrong, did you enjoy it? Did it set that tone for WrestleMania? Now, and I think it does a little bit because the whole Cody and Drew, I mean, it never ends. Like I said, I almost feel like they have to go into this, even if Cody, I mean, like I said, they could just switch it up. And I feel like if they do it this way, if Cody wins on Friday and it's going to be Cody and Randy heading into Mania, I feel like it does so much injustice to Drew McIntyre. And if I was Drew, I'd be absolutely livid. I don't care about doing a job. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. I think Drew is making his run as this, bad guy who is he's sabotaging anyone who opposes a threat to his WWE championship. So Cody Rhodes is a threat. He's seen it firsthand. So you take out Cody Rhodes each and every week so that he can't come back and attack you. Then Jacob Fatu is another threat to your WWE championship. Randy Orton is another threat to your WWE championship. So Drew McIntyre, and you can look at it in multiple ways. You got him as somebody who he could compete, and he's a good athlete. I think he could win about 6, 7 out of 10 times against a lot of these guys. But there's a little bit of cowardice behind this, saying that he can't that he is attacking everybody, not because he wants to cause chaos, not because he wants to stay ahead of the game, is because realistically, he is afraid to step in the ring again against Cody Rhodes. He's afraid to face the Viper. He's afraid to take on Pet Fat too. He's afraid that he's not good enough to compete and win against these men. And you can't hide that. So although Drew is saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to make sure I ruin Cody's career moving on." If I won the champ, I'm saying, and I'm staying as far away as I can from Cody. Let him beat himself up. Let him make those mistakes. Let him lose. And guess what? If he wins, I will face that direct on. And I should have the confidence that I can face anyone, anytime, anywhere, under any conditions, that I'm just that better than you. And the fact that Drew McIntyre has to intervene each and every week, that says a lot. So, I think that Drew takes this character and he's running from it. He's running from the competition by getting ahead and costing people matches. Well, one of it backfires. And he's going to have to face Cody Rhodes fair and square. And I don't think Randy Orton's going to interfere. He doesn't care who he's facing. All he knows is that he has a championship match. Maybe Jacob Fat too. And that's why I feel like you can't take them away from the spotlight. This is why I would have, hell, even a fatal four-way match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Now, to me, it takes away Randy Orton winning. But obviously, now this is the person who who's recently involved and has the least reasoning on why he should be considered into this. But it's an extra set of hands in this match. So maybe my thought process is wrong, but what do you guys think about that? Could we possibly see a fatal four-way match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? Let me know down in the comments below. But that is all the time we have. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to our episode. Hey, look, I'm going to say this each and every day. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you guys are watching us on our social media pages, Facebook, please like, share, subscribe, follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok. Engage into our conversations. I want to hear what you guys have to say. For our people who are watching us on a YouTube page, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe. If you become a Patreon to our channel, we will give you a shout out to our channel and let you guys know how much we appreciate you. Thank you. Those who are following us on our TikTok or audio platforms and all that stuff, please be sure to follow. Don't forget to listen to every episode so you're staying caught up to date. Like I said, I won't be here on Wednesday. I will be here tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, right? Weekend number 2 for Grassroots in Cincinnati, Ohio, presented by Enlightened Studios, Artsville Theater, 5021 Westville Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45227. Get your tickets if you haven't gotten them today by visiting tickettailor.com for more information. Until tomorrow, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.